right, it is Wednesday, June 12th, 2019, 5:30 p.m. This is the monthly meeting of the Urbana Human Relations Commission. Can the clerk please call the roll?
Frances Rigberg Baker. Here. Carol Bradford. Stacy Burnett. Lisa Mosley.
Here.
Daniel Larson. Peter Resnick.
Here.
Catalina Thomas. Samuel Bindum. Lolita Dumas.
Here.
Brianna Donald.
All right, so we have a quorum. We have a very light agenda today. Yay, team. Can I get a motion for approval?
I move that we approve the agenda.
Thank you. And second?
I'll second it.
So we have a motion by Lisa, second by Fran. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so the agenda is approved. We've got the minutes of the April 10th, 2019 meeting in front of us. Any changes, adjustments, a motion?
I move that we approve the April 10th, 2019 minutes.
I second it.
So we have a motion by Lisa, second by Lolita. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? And that motion carries, so the minutes are approved. All right, moving right along, we have time for public participation. Do we have folks here who would like to address the commission? Please come on up to the table and introduce yourselves at the microphones.
I'd like to introduce myself as Darren Martin. I'm the general manager with Vermeer Midwest.
And I am Andrea Knoll. I'm the Human Resource Manager at Vermeer Midwest.
So with that, I'd like to maybe tell a little bit of background of our company. There was a handout that was given. We are a family-owned company from 1971, have a long-standing relationship with the City of Urbana. There's a wide range of equipment there you can see. Some of them that you do own are brush chippers for grinding up trees and making them into wood waste. And then also tub grinders and trommel screens just recently, so you can recycle that into the society here. And then also stump grinders, so it kind of goes hand in foot with the environmental line that we have. We also offer a lot of services to you. We sell you parts. We also do road service for you. So we do have 5 service trucks that are out of our dealership in Goodfield, Illinois, so we do that for you also. We offer a lot of training, arborist training, so we do all of these in combining with the business that we do with you. So that's kind of a little bit of a background that we have, just sharing of our company. With that, I'll let Andrea take it away.
Okay, I'm just going to start by talking a little bit about the makeup of the company, talking about our recruiting efforts and where our challenges are with that in general, and then in relationship to diversity. So right now we have 53 team members. Our average tenure is 15 years, so people tend to stay a long time when they come to work for us. In 2018, we have a very low turnover as well. So in 2018, we had 4 people leave. We hired 5 people, and as Darren mentioned, we are a very family-oriented company. So 2 of those people were children of the owner. Another person was a child of the manager that they now report to. One of them was me. And then we had one just completely outside hire who wasn't a referral or anything. As far as recruiting, our absolute most difficult position to fill is our service technicians. So the people that work on the big, heavy equipment there. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, I'm sure you've heard there's a lack of skilled labor, but they anticipate that we're going to need about 46,000 more service technicians to meet the demand that's out there. So we have a hard time finding qualified people to fulfill those roles. We are looking, when we look for people to fill those roles, we would like to see people who have gone to a technical school, specifically for heavy equipment. And it seems that people that have worked in agriculture on farms, that skill set seems to translate well over to us also. So our strategy to fill our positions has been to kind of overstaff and recruit from the technical schools in the areas in which we have locations, and get them after they've graduated, do internships with us, and then we hire them on as a technician. And so, honestly, to hire a skilled person who has 5 years of experience is virtually impossible these days. So, as far as diversity goes, since we mainly get people from technical schools, what we find is there's zero diversity within the technical schools. We don't really have much to choose from there from a diversity perspective. We do use an applicant tracking system, so we post every job to 17 different job boards. And then we also work with a company called diversityworking.com, so that's a service that we pay quite a bit of money to, and they come out and get our jobs off our website and put it onto their website. They claim to be the largest diversity job board online, so that's why we use them. We do offer a really extremely generous benefit package, and our pay is really competitive, and we offer a very generous 401k profit sharing. So we don't feel that the reason we're not getting people isn't because we're not competitive in those areas. We just think they're not out there. It's just hard to find them. Besides that, from a diversity perspective, we are in Woodford County, so we're in Goodfield. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but Goodfield, Illinois.
I took a look. You're about halfway between Peoria and Bloomington?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So when we pull the census report for Woodford, it's almost 98% white. So we just don't have a lot of diversity around us. And then to find a qualified person from that pool, it is hard.
So what I think we should do is go around folks who have questions about, and just to level set for folks who might be watching later, we had gone through last time some of the diversity numbers from you folks and went, something doesn't look good here, so let's find out what's going on. So we do appreciate you coming down and sharing this information. So do folks have questions for our guests? Lisa?
You mentioned that you recruit from the tech schools. Can you name a few of those that you are working with?
So in Goodfield, we work with ICC, Illinois Central College, and they're about 15 minutes away from us. And then
Scott Community College in Davenport, so we work with also.
So Parkland College, which is a local community college, is it because you're housed there and even though you're doing work in different communities, you're not able to, I guess that I'm thinking of many other, there's the Quad City Community College and several others, I'm sure,
I don't know.
that might be
Do they
near
have diesel
more,
programs?
Yeah, so the diesel technician programs are the ones that we're working with. Those are the closest ones to our, to our locations. And it seems like we get the best participation from them.
Sure.
We've reached out to Blackhawk Community College, some other ones like that, but it seems like our participation rate isn't as high as it is where somebody's close to your facility.
Sure.
And we have hired some, it's been rare, but we've hired people out of the area, and they just don't stay. They end up moving back home,
Fran?
You have on staff, though, skilled people that know how to do this work. Have you ever considered in-house training for not from the colleges already trained, but people that could come and it would be an expanding of your business plan, your mission, but have you ever considered doing that? Making your own skilled people?
Not that I'm aware of.
We do offer expanded training to our existing people, but, not just to create training outside of to create a position.
So you've never had like an apprenticeship program or something like that?
We have an intern program that's actually through the community colleges, through the service technicians, so I guess that would be an apprentice program or the internship.
And those colleges have no diversity that you're drawing on?
The information that we're getting, we're not seeing the diversification.
Okay, you have Peoria on one side and Bloomington on the other.
So at ICC, every student enrolled in the diesel technology program is a white male. And the same at Scott. And I even went to, I looked up, I know Kishwaukee by Chicago has a diesel program, so I went on their website, and every person on the website is white male.
Out of the
Yeah.
53 staff members, how many are service technicians?
Do you have a guesstimate on that?
So we have over half of them are service technicians.
About 26.
Yeah.
It's about, I would say 18
And then the
is
other
kind of the number.
jobs would be,
Parts, we have parts specialists and parts managers, product support people, sales staff, administrative staff. We have some corporate employees,
okay.
so that's
So a
kind of
few
our...
other areas that we might be able to try to fill with. Because at current standing, you have 0% in
Right.
any position. Am I correct on those
In
numbers?
any minority.
Okay. But I do hear what you're saying as far as what's out there, who's going to be attracted to the field.
Right.
Possibly, like you said, farmers and different, I'm from the Quad
It
City
seems-
area, but having Davenport, Moline, having Bloomington, having Peoria, I guess I am surprised that there's no minority candidates out there at all for that kind of training.
Yeah, and I think what happens is there's not the opportunity to hire people in because the tenure is so long
Sure.
that people don't leave, and we don't have the opportunity to hire people in. And when we do, it's a family member. I mean, even I was a referral of the CEO. I had worked with him before. So it's such a family-oriented company that a lot of times they're bringing in relatives.
Maybe we need some more diversity.
Yeah.
To grow that.
Well, and
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
we discuss a lot of times, part of the idea of finding diversity is that going outside of where you'd normally look. That, it's very easy for family and friends and extended friends, and sometimes that makes it hard for other people to get an edge in. And so that spreading out the word that, hey, yeah, we know that we've got friends here, but we want to let folks know that there are these positions available.
Right.
The other thing I'm seeing is pretty low numbers of women. Is it mostly, I mean, you said about half service technicians, but it seems like parts and other jobs wouldn't necessarily be as weighted toward men.
Correct.
Do you have any idea what's going on there?
So there's only, well, the numbers are so small too. I mean, there's only 2 people in the parts department in East Moline, and there's, 3 in?
3 in
Goodfield?
Goodfield, 2 in East Moline. Our sales staff is all male in the construction field. It's a heavy equipment. Not to say that, we're open for people that are qualified, but just that background right there. So kind of your parts, your sales, that's probably your other force, and then our administrative, and we do have several other women that are in management roles, and we do have that.
Yeah, because the numbers we were seeing was, current numbers around 9 women out of the 50 employees, give or take. That sound about right?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Yeah, Fran?
I'm kind of curious about the diversityworking.com. Do you have any idea where they make their effort? Where they,
They just
Where
go, we pay them
places?
like $5,000 a year, and they basically come and take our jobs off of our career page and put them on their own career page.
that's it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't skim them out. They're already, I mean, our jobs are already posted out to 21 websites, you know, such as Indeed and.
That you do that?
Yes, our applicant tracking system does that.
And Diversity.com's a national kind of setup?
Mhm. Yeah. And we've been with them for years.
Cecilia, you had a question or a
I
comment?
wanted to ask you, you mentioned the average tenure of your employees, and I missed it,
Oh, 15 years.
15 years?
Mhm.
Okay. And did you mention, well, we can look at our reports and tell the number of people that you hired over a period of time. But do you have some non-technical positions like administrative assistants or those kinds of positions that you could look at whenever there would be a vacancy?
We do have those positions. There's just not ever a vacancy in them.
Turnover.
Yeah, there's not turnover.
You're too good to your people.
I know.
Yeah.
We have a
You mentioned
really,
a great benefits
honestly, I've been there
package.
We do
for
have
a
great
year.
benefits.
I've been there just for a year, and the culture is amazing. It's unlike any place I've ever worked. I didn't know that cultures like this existed. So they do treat people very well, and they stay.
And, you know, it's nice to hear that you're attracting people that are coming from distances, and too bad that they're leaving, you know. Lolita?
And I was going to ask, you had mentioned before, you said that oftentimes there are situations where people would do an internship with you and then that they would like be hired out. What is the time frame in which, because you also mentioned that for service technicians that you're looking for 5 years experience, so how does that transition works between an internship and then being hired?
So our internship, so there's through ICC, so Illinois Central College, it is a year program. So they are technically in the classroom 9 weeks, and then 8 weeks in the classroom, 8 weeks with us. And they basically work 30 hours, 29 and a half hours. And then the second semester is the same. So they have their second year of the diesel program is an internship with us. Scott Community College runs, I believe it's 220 hours or 230 hours of internship, and that's through over a year program too. So they're actually all year long, but then their internship has to be a minimum of the 320, I think, or 330 hours. So that's our internships that we run through the diesel program.
So would they have prior experience that would equal up to that 5 years that will make them qualify for that service technician position?
Are they getting hired? Are the interns getting hired by you
Yes.
guys?
The interns are getting hired, and it takes them about 2 to 3 years. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but 2 to 3 years to be a fully competent technician.
So are they like on probation until that point, or what is their role until they're a full service technician?
So they're hired on as a service technician, and then they just work. We do two things. We do a buddy system. So
Okay.
we actually have one technician that works with them,
Okay.
and we assign them, so that's kind of a culture thing, but it's also then the learning. So they're actually working with more of a veteran, somebody that's got the experience. So then we work them up so that then they're able to, I would say the first 6 months, it's a buddy system 100%, and then they slowly get graduated off of that, and they're working on equipment themselves, which is really comes to probably 3 years before they're actually full up to speed and working on equipment by themselves.
And then they may start on less complicated
Right.
work. And then, you know, as time goes on, they'll be put on more complex problems.
And then through that, our training, we do several different types of training. We have training at our manufacturer, which is in Pella, Iowa, and then we also do online training. So which has to do with, learning about the hydraulics, the electrical, and all of those things, as well as, the whole level of things. If you look at the piece of equipment that are on there, you'll see some that are probably about the size of this table, and you'll see some that are the size of semis. So there's a very big complexity of that. The electrical systems get more complex on the larger pieces of equipment, so then we need more training, and that takes them longer to get up to speed, with that. So we have, I think, a good starting training program, because I think we want employees to be successful, and then we also know that when they come out and work on your piece of equipment, we want somebody that's really competent, that does a really nice job, so that we get that customer experience and that customer satisfaction from what they're doing. So there's a fulfillment both ways we look at from a culture standpoint. So that's kind of a brief synopsis on our training. It's a little bit more in depth than that. We kind of have it lined out as so many hours of training the first year, so many hours of training the second year, but we feel like we have a good success rate, and that's part of the reason I think why our people stay. Is they get that self-fulfillment from our work.
So I've got a question. Do you have a gut as to, like for ICC or any of the other colleges you're working with? I mean, it sounds like their populations are pretty not diverse. Is that population based around where they're centered? Is that it just happens to attract folks, farmer families who've been white for many generations? Do you have a sense of what's driving their lack of diversity?
I'm not sure if I can answer that other than, from what you stated first, the agricultural. We see a lot of young people that come into the diesel technician field that are from the ag. And it's usually, how it is, it's one family. You said you were maybe up from the Quad City area. You kind of know the agricultural line of a family to a family to a family. There's not as many new people going into the agricultural field as you see in other fields. So those people are out. They're drawn kind of to the equipment. They like the big equipment. They like the large equipment, the heavy equipment, I would say, because we kind of fall within that line of we're not that automotive technician, but we're not big Caterpillar equipment. We're kind of in that middle range, which is kind of that agricultural line. So.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say too, because ICC is in East Peoria, so.
Yeah, you'd think they would have a
it's in
reasonably
close-
diverse community.
Yeah, it's in close vicinity to where, yeah, so there's certainly the opportunity.
I mean,
Yeah.
especially, it's just attracting or possibly looking at the schools giving scholarships to,
Right.
others.
Right.
To increase diversity or something along those lines too, because it sounds like a great job.
Mhm.
It sounds like, I think there's a lot of people who would love to have this job,
Right.
and we need more technicians, we need more.
We do. There's going to be a shortage.
Pretty much, exactly. So I'm hearing what you're saying, and I still feel like it's really nice to see some bridge, because we're seeing this in a lot of service fields. Am I saying that right? For the city, when we come across and look at all of our vendors.
Right.
A lot of it is to fix things, or it's cement.
Right.
Or, working on a road. And,
Right.
And so we understand some of that. And I appreciate you guys coming
Yeah.
across, it doesn't sound like from Urbana here, and coming to us and sharing that.
And do understand, I mean, we very much appreciate you even thinking in terms of what can we do to unwedge this.
Yeah.
Our mission is to sort of figure out what's going on here, and is it, that like a union is not being as diverse as possible, or a community college is not, and that's not feeding into the industry, and to try and do what we can at a local level to help that along. So it's good that you're thinking about these issues and willing to talk to us about it, and we hope you do so ongoing.
Yeah, so for us, it would be helpful if the technical schools, I don't know what their efforts are. Are they going into diverse high schools and trying to make this job attractive to a diverse group? I mean, I don't know what they're doing, but it's not showing up in their programs. So it would certainly give us something to pick from.
No, they need you to come in and say what a great job it is, how much money they're going to make, all their good
Right.
Possibly look
Yeah.
down this road.
And, you know, we would certainly do that.
Any other questions?
I just want to make a comment.
Yeah,
Um,
please, Cecilia.
It is very clear that you are making good faith efforts in terms of reaching your outreach. The good news about the commission is we are always here to give our opinions and offer ideas. So please do not hesitate to call my office if you have any questions or you want to run an idea past me. And I will get with the commissioners and we can talk about it.
Okay.
But most importantly, we do very much appreciate your time, the fact that you came, traveled, and.
In the rain.
In the rain. And,
Why'd you choose the rainy day?
so we most appreciate
Yeah.
your being here and how open and accommodating you've been. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
All right.
All right. Seeing no further public participation, and we have nothing listed in old business or new business, so we can skip straight to staff report. Don't lose your microphone.
My staff report starts with the vendor renewals.
All right. So everybody's got vendor renewals in front of them, and the individual reports are out on the website. Anything in particular you all want to point out, or should we just go to a motion and any discussion?
No, I think this is pretty usual and customary, so
All right. Do I have a motion, or does anyone have any questions up front?
No, I move that we approve the renewals for Deuce Construction, Ray, Heron, Hall Signs, and CDS Office Systems as recommended by our officer.
All right, so that's a motion by Lisa for Deuce Construction for 1 year, Ray O'Haron for 2 years, Hall Signs for 2 years, and CDS Office Systems for 2 years. Do I have a second?
Second it.
All right, and so a second by Fran. Any discussion, questions, comments?
So Vermeer is not,
No.
No,
Vermeer
that's-
was on our last cycle, and so we wanted to get additional information.
You know, when I was reviewing this, I just wanted to say, I see some movement, and I looked at, other than maybe Deuce Construction, which is why I think the 1 year is appropriate, I think Ray O'Haron, Hall Signs, and CDS Office have made some improvement. I was glad to see that.
it can be done.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries, so we've got all approved as recommended. HRO activity report.
okay, you guys all have a copy of that, right? I very quickly want to just highlight some of the activities going on in the office. We had talked about at the last meeting that the commission needs to start working on having greater visibility within the community. The last time we met, Monique and Preston had represented the HRC and the office itself at an event. Oh, the Disability Expo. Coming up this month, on June 22nd, is the Jetty Roads event, which is in King Park, and Monique and Preston will be out of town. I will be the staff person there, but the city will also have additional staff people there from other departments as well, so we plan on having a big presence there. But my role there will be representing the HRC, and I will be handing out your brochures and talking to people about what the role and the function of the commission and the office is. The coding boot camp program is still not off the ground yet. I have not been able to meet with the individual that had expressed an interest in working with me yet, simply because our schedules we just haven't been able to hook up yet. So hopefully I will be able to offer some information on this for our July meeting. The purchasing ordinance is, the draft is done, but we have not gone before the city council for approval. So I'll be able to give you an update on that in July as well. And over the last month or so, I have had 3 contacts with the office as it relates to filing of discrimination complaints. 2 of them are employment complaints. One is, the basis is race, the other conviction record. The third one is a housing issue, and I list it as an inquiry at this point because we're really trying to work to resolve it, and it's an ADA accessibility issue. So hopefully that will be resolved the next time we get together. The most exciting thing that I've done this month, in May, is I have contacted a young lady by the name of Karen Sims, who has agreed to put on a six-week workshop for Urbana. Yeah, she is. And what I've provided you, I won't bore you with the details, but the workshop itself is entitled Stress Less. Our target group is adults, not children, adults, parents, grandparents, those folks who may be dealing with a lot of different kinds of issues related to just trying to maintain a healthy home environment. And I'm looking a max of 15 people, ideally more like 10. And this is by invitation only. And so if you know of anyone in particular who lives in Urbana, who would like to, you think would benefit from her workshop, please just forward me their contact information and I can get in contact with them and offer them the opportunity to attend the training. I put, just to give you an idea of the workshop itself, I put this little flyer in your packet of stuff. But I think it will be a very good program. Karen does a lot of work throughout the community, both with youth, adults. She has her own business where she counsels people. So she is a real jewel in terms of what she brings to this community. We're going to have a meet and greet on the 24th, and intended for participants and the trainers. Not only Karen, but some of Karen's staff is also going to help with this. And so if you guys are not doing anything on the 24th, 5:30 at the Urbana Library, please stop by. We're going to have light refreshments. And the actual training itself will start July 22nd and run for 6 weeks, meeting each week on Monday nights and through August 26th.
Any questions regarding the staff report? Thank you, Vasilia. Anything else from staff? Are we all done? Next on the agenda is announcements. Any announcements? I've got one quick little one. I don't know if you noticed in the paper the other day, the university has hired their first, chief diversity officer, which I thought was nice. This is Professor Sean Garrick, who is an engineering professor, who they've hired on as a CDO. I am sure that Professor Garrick is probably swallowed up in all the new job stuff, but I hope that maybe our office can get in contact with him at some point and see what involvement in community diversity issues he might be interested in participating in. Any other announcements? All right, with that, we've come to the end of our agenda. So we are adjourned. Thank you all. See you next month.